Now, there were some logistics, of course, in the making of Red Roses and Petrol, in that you built an entire set out in Los Angeles to depict the Doyle family home, and you shot predominantly most of the movie in Ireland.
Well, it wasn't predominantly. It was the exteriors in Ireland, because Ireland is Ireland. The interiors, we had to miraculously move to basically a warehouse where we built the insides of all the locations. It was just amazing what fun we had, because I had the most talented production designer, a woman named Julianne Getman, whose work I knew, and who was extremely successful in doing movies where ethnicity was very important. I had taken, hundreds of pictures of interiors in Ireland when I was over there, so she was able to actually replicate them on a stage. And really, when we were shooting, I just believed I was in Ireland. She did such a wonderful job, right down to the plugs with the wiring on the outside and the different switches, and the colors, and the fabrics and the wallpaper. I mean, it was very, very authentic, and a great deal of fun to do this. Every photograph on the wall and every photograph that lined the tops of tables and so on were all from my own house. In all the photographs I had done in Ireland, I noticed that pictures of the family were very prevalent. So we thought, well, where are we going to get pictures of all these people in the Doyle family? And they are actually the Hoffs family. But it worked.
And it works very well. It was originally anticipated that Red Roses and Petrol would receive funding from the Irish Film Board, but that unfortunately didn't happen. However, it didn't stop you. Did you feel, however, let down, and what did you do next when the Irish Film Board did not fund this film?
The Irish Film Board had been very gracious to us. They had told us they loved our script. They, of course, love Joe O'Connor. He's Sinead O'Connor's brother. That family is very important in the culture of Ireland. And we had our production people from Abu, all Irish. So we made an assumption that was incorrect, that my presence on the scene was okay, since I'd been interviewed and treated as an Irish woman in the interview. We later found out that that was a big no-no, and that the director, producer, writer, which I, of course, was playing all three roles, was too much of an imbalance for the Irish Film Board to give money to me. And it was a momentary tragedy, because without their money, we were not able to fund the movie in Ireland, that is to say. We had, as part of their initiative, already raised a third of the money, because that was actually part of the way their initiative worked. So I go back to America, and my lovely daughter, Susanna Hoffs, says to me, "Mom, you already have a third of the money. You've got to do the movie. You're going to find a way. I'm going to help you. You're going to use your own wardrobe. You're going to, do this, and you're going to do that. But this movie's got to be made." She even offered up her son to play the little boy Johnny as a smaller child in the movie. And we just rolled up our sleeves, and we literally brought in 2/3 of this budget for gifts and sweat, what we call sweat equity. We just got it all together, and we made the movie actually for at least half of what our original budget was. But I'm actually very proud of it, because sometimes when you work that way, you get half the money, but you work twice as hard. And that's how it worked.
And of course,
we did it.
And you did it very well indeed. Associate producer on the film is, of course, the acclaimed actor Malcolm McDowell, who plays Enda Doyle in Red Roses and Petrol. What sparked Malcolm off to contribute to the making of Red Roses and Petrol? How did that association?
Well, without Malcolm, I've got to say, none of this would have happened. Because when I came back to the States after finding out that I didn't have the budget for the movie, I had already cast the whole movie with Irish actors. And so be it, it's an Irish story. I needed Irish actors. So it turned out, though, that actors can't just leave home on, the spur of the moment. And several of the actors really couldn't leave for various reasons. Taking care of children, schedule issues, and so on. I came back to America, and I was somewhat taken aback in those first days before Susanna bolstered my ego there to do it. But in addition, I went to see a movie called Gangster Number One quite by chance, invited to the screening by an old Irish friend of mine, F.X. Feeney, a very prominent critic in America. And it turned out this movie starred Malcolm McDowell. And I watched the movie, and as I'm watching it, I thought, oh my God, there's Enda Doyle. But then of course, I thought, how am I going to organize telling Malcolm McDowell that he's Enda Doyle, basically?
So quickly.
Well, what I did was I literally sat there thinking, I have to ask a great question, because FX was going to do a Q&A after the screening with Malcolm. And I thought to myself, it's not just got to be a great question, it's got to be one that he won't forget, so that when I reconnect with him and say, I'm the lady that asked the question, he will remember who I am.
Very good.
Just a little trick of the trade.